I'm going to start. So I came on today because I wanted to share with you all. I've been throwing around this big M word lately, and the word is matrescence. And I wanted to take some time to explain what it is because it's a really, really important thing in our lives as mamas. It's really an important thing in the life of all humans because we all come from a mama, right? And we all have a relationship with our mother. It may be good or it may not be good, but I'm going to start. I'm going to assume, first of all, that you probably don't know this word. Very few people have heard of this word. And I'm going to start off actually by talking about a different word. It's a related word. And that word is adolescence, right? So I'm sure everyone here has heard of adolescence. Number one, because we've been through it. Number two, because we probably learned about it back in high school or middle school when we were in the throes of it. So we know that adolescence refers to the neurological, the brain changes, right? The hormonal changes, the emotional changes, the social changes, the psychological and the physical changes that happen when we shift from childhood into adulthood. And it's a process that takes many years to complete. And because we have named it, because we have acknowledged it as a culture and as a society, we can do our best to support it, right? So matrescence is the name that's given to all of those same changes that happen when we become a mother. So there are brain changes, really profound brain changes that we're only just beginning to discover. There are hormonal changes. There are physical changes. Our body actually, physically changes form, right? There are spiritual changes. There's emotional and social and economic. There's so many different facets to this process of matrescence. That's really a word it's a word for mother becoming, right? That process of becoming a mother. And it's not something that happens overnight. It involves 5 distinct stages. They don't happen necessarily in a linear way. You could, it's more of a cycle and you could revisit certain stages. But there are 5 distinct stages, and I will be sharing more about that in the circle that I'm holding on Sunday. But my thing with matrescence and why I'm a midwife, so I've been working with mamas for over 20 years now, supporting them as they go through this process, right? Just the beginning stages of it. And I've only in the last maybe 3 years come to know what this word means. So it's obviously very important to my work, but the reason I think it should be like an everyday household word that everyone knows, like adolescence, is because how do we possibly support a process as profound as matrescence, which, by the way, the changes that happen to us when we become a mother are way more intense than adolescence. And yet we don't, as a culture, we don't name it, we don't acknowledge it. So inside of the invisibility, how can we possibly support a process that we have not named, that we have not acknowledged, right? And the answer is we can't. And I believe that is why we are seeing such epidemic proportions of mommy guilt, mommy shame, burnout, exhaustion, depletion, and of course, perinatal mood disorders, which refers to either depression or anxiety that mamas experience during pregnancy or in the early postpartum period. So these are things that are a result of a society that is under supporting this process of matrescence. It really, we've taken on so much as mamas, so much guilt and so much of this sense of not enoughness, right? We hold ourselves to this really high standard of what it means to be a mother and what is a good mother. Actually, that's one of the phases of matrescence is moving through and coming into acceptance of what it is to be the good enough mother. But we, as a group, mothers, I believe, suffer from this sense of not enoughness. And it's like we've taken on all the failings of culture and of society in supporting us or in not supporting us, right? We've taken that on, we've internalized it, and we've made it that, we're the ones with the problem. But, postpartum depression and anxiety and these other symptoms of, exhaustion, overwhelm, depletion, burnout, these are really a normal response to the lack of support that mothers receive in this culture. And so we need to stop blaming moms, and we need to start looking at how can we better support this profound transformation of identity, right? Motherhood, I think a lot of times we think motherhood is like the end of ourselves as people. And it really is actually, I believe, an invitation into profound transformation. It's an invitation into becoming ourselves fully. Because what happens to us when we become mothers, just in the brain changes alone, okay? And these are we're really at the very beginning of studying these changes. But what we know right now is that oxytocin, which is the love hormone, it plays a big role not only in pregnancy and birth, but also in the postpartum period. And it does all these amazing things for us. So oxytocin and the other changes that happen in the brain, that's one of the big ones, is that we have a lot more oxytocin. And we also become very neuroplastic, which means, new neural pathways are opening up. It's a time, just like in infancy and in adolescence, there's a lot of neuroplasticity. There's a lot of new avenues opening up. And so what that allows for is an increased capacity for empathy. It allows for an increase in our capacity to multitask, right? We can do a million different things at once. It makes us more capable of reading nonverbal cues, which of course is crucial when we're dealing with our newborns and with our children before they can really speak with words. And it also makes us more vigilant, it can kind of put us in a hypervigilant state, which is something I only learned after my personal experience with postpartum depression and anxiety. And it really made things click for me, because if a mama in that postpartum time, and I would say, throughout that whole first year of life for the infant, if she feels supported and she feels safe, then the oxytocin leads to more of a sense of relaxation and connection, that capacity for empathy. It also makes us more ambitious, which is very interesting, right? Makes us more ambitious. So that's a clue right there that our lives are, our personhood does not end when we become a mother. But if we are not supported, if we don't feel safe, then that oxytocin can lead us to a state of anxiety. Why? Because think about an animal in the wild, right? Oxytocin makes us hypervigilant because we need to protect our young. But if we're feeling that way just more on an emotional level, we're not needing to protect our young from any physical danger. What it lends to is anxiety. So this term, matrescence, it was coined by an anthropologist in the 1970s named Donna Raphael. And here we are in 2021, so 50 years later, and most people have never heard of this word. So I'm on a mission to make this just another word that everyone knows and understands, so that we can begin to support it. So how do we support matrescence? I want you to, when you think of the classic symbol of transformation, we think of the butterfly, right? So when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it's not like it just eats lots of healthy foods and reads some self-help books and becomes a bigger, better caterpillar, right? No, the caterpillar literally changes form. The cells of the caterpillar inside of the chrysalis turn into this sort of primordial mush that then reforms into the cells of a butterfly. And so what allows for this deep, deep process of transformation for the caterpillar to become the butterfly is the chrysalis. So let me tell you a secret. For mamas, what allows us that safety and capacity for deep transformation is the village. Okay, the village is our chrysalis. And we've all heard, that expression, it takes a village, that old African proverb. It takes a village to raise a child. But what I like to say is that it takes a village to raise a mother. Because we need support, right? We need support. Parenting was never supposed to be a solo gig. But not only do we need support, we need a sisterhood with other mamas that is going to hold a space for us to really do this deep work of transformation that is an essential part of matrescence. And again, this is not something that happens overnight. This takes years. My oldest daughter is 14 and I feel like I'm still in it. So, and then each child that you have, you're in like a new process of matrescence. Each child brings out different aspects of ourselves as mothers. So we don't just need any village. We need a village that is going to align around our power and our possibility, so that they're not supporting us just to be who we have always been, but they're actually calling us and holding us accountable and inspiring us and empowering us to be that who we wish to become, whatever that is, whether that's an artist or just the most incredible mother that you could possibly be, or whether that's an entrepreneur. But what I've found, and back in February of this year, I launched a global summit called Map for a New Motherhood, where I interviewed 34 brilliant mothers from all over the globe. It was about 8 different countries, and asked them about their experience in becoming a mother and how that shifted their lives and their work. And what I found over and over again was this theme of motherhood being a pathway to our purpose, to our sacred work in the world. And so that's why I feel like Matrescence is really such an opportunity. It's such an opportunity to expand and grow ourselves right along with our children. And this is where we need a particular type of village that is functioning within a different set of shared agreements than the surrounding culture. So in our larger culture here in the United States and in many Western countries, women tend to kind of bond around either our shared experience of victimization and oppression, or the other way that we're socialized is to compete with each other. And now I'm not saying that, many of us don't have relationships that are way more deep and powerful than that. But that is the predominant culture. So if we want to create something different that's outside of that, then we have to come in, we have to create a container and a certain set of shared values and shared commitments. And so that's the kind of village that I am talking about. And I am creating that village right now. It's called the Matressence Circle. And so it's a paid membership community that will meet once every month for a live Zoom workshop or circle guided by myself or a guest facilitator. We will be exploring different aspects of matrescence and including things like financial, wealth and prosperity, because that's another area where moms have a lot of shame. And so including things like that, including things like finding our purpose, demystifying and unraveling the big myths of motherhood that are keeping us stuck and in like burnout and exhaustion. So each month there will be a 90-minute to 2-hour circle. The first one is this Sunday on the new moon in Aries, which I chose because I am an Aries woman and because this is where we are in the year. And because that's like a triple, really, it's like a triple new endeavor kind of energy, right? We have the new moon, which is a great time for setting intentions and for starting projects. The new moon is in Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. And we're in spring. We're entering spring, which is also about rebirth and renewal. So we're going to be harnessing all that energy from the universe and in propelling us in our circle. And so that begins this Sunday. But the membership also includes access to a private membership Facebook group where you have 24/7 access to this virtual village. I will be doing weekly check-in days and tune-in days. So a check-in day is just I'll post a question and everyone will respond with their answer, and it's just a way to reconnect with yourself, because that's a constant practice that we have to do as mamas. Our attention most of the time is outside of ourselves, on other people, on caretaking and making sure everybody else's needs are met. So it is a practice to do that for ourselves. So that would be one thing, the check-in day. And the tune-in day will be a weekly card reading. I'll post a few cards. You'll choose one, and then I'll share what you chose later on in the day. So that's what's the ways just to keep engaged with the community. As always, you can share at any time with people. You can post questions. You can ask for insights. You can share your own dreams and visions. That's a lot of what I want to do in this circle, because when you share your dreams and visions inside of a group that's founded, has this foundation of these set shared commitments that have to do with amplifying each other's power and possibility, then your chances of having that come to fruition are like 10 times more so than if you just were to set an intention alone in your living room, right? There's a power in the group field. There's a power in the collective. There's a power in the village. And when we make it a village with very set intention, it becomes even more powerful. And really, it's the village. And in my interviews in this summit, what I found is it's the village that really allows us to do big things in our life. And you may not feel like you have any big visions or big dreams, and that's fine too. But anything that you want to bring into your life, anything that you want to manifest or womanifest into your life, when you share that inside of a village and have everyone witness you and amplify you, it just is, like I said, 10 times more powerful. So that is what we're up to inside the Matrescence Circle. The other benefits of the circle are discounts on all of my programs, a 10% discount on all of my Motherfly courses and programs or books. So I look forward to having you there and seeing you this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join the community, I am offering the first month free, so you can get a taste, risk-free. And you can sign up at the link in my bio. You'll see when you go to the link tree, you will see the Matrescence Circle is right there at the top, and you can go ahead and click there. When you get to the checkout page, just type in the promo code first month free, all caps, and you will not be charged for that first month. So I look forward to having you there. I'm so excited about what can happen inside of this kind of a group. I know for me in my own life, my greatest creative endeavors, my greatest creative accomplishments, and things that just really have felt impactful and in line with my own purpose have happened because of a group, because of a collective of people that were aligned around that same thing and were supporting me. So I cannot overestimate not only the necessity of the village for mamas, but the power of the village. And I hope you learned a little bit today about matrescence. I will be sharing more in our first circle about what it is and the different stages of it. And I will see you there. Much love and many blessings. And go ahead and click on the link in the bio to sign up and get your first month free of the Matrescence Circle. Bye-bye. Okay, now I have to figure out how to leave. Okay, let's see. Yes.